I have never seen this team beg more for ticket sales than I'm seeing now. I have never seen them post more. I've never seen them ask more. I've never seen them demand more. I've never seen them tweet more. When it comes to ticket sales and trying to sell out an arena, I have never seen the Indiana Fever ask more than...
Never seen them beg this hard. That's what caught my attention. Because when a team that had fans camping out for tickets just 12 months ago is now flooding social media with desperate pleas to fill seats, something fundamental has broken. And the Indiana Fever's ticket crisis reveals a much bigger problem than empty seats.
For the Indiana Fever, when you compare it to the first year, flew off the shelves. When you compare it to the second year, hashtag now you know, flew off the shelves. They couldn't keep them long enough. Now, we are a week away from preseason. A lot of tickets available. We are about 2 weeks away from...
Let's put this in perspective. Last year's home opener sold out in under an hour. Fans were refreshing Ticketmaster at midnight, crashing the website, paying scalpers double face value just to get in the building. Fast forward to right now, 1 week before preseason tips off, and you can still buy tickets in every section of the arena. Music, that's not a minor dip in demand, that's a complete reversal.
A lot of tickets available. Not only are they available, but the Indiana Fever, these tickets are high. Like, I wouldn't spend that much money on tickets. I wouldn't spend that much money on tickets. I know I wear the same jacket every day, so it's not saying much. I'm cheap, I'm frugal, but still, is the juice worth the squeeze? Especially when you don't know the role of your favorite player. People remember last year, day to day, and they would spend tickets and spend money and spend money and spend money and spend money, only not to see their favorite player. People remember that.
Here's what makes this particularly telling. These aren't casual fans we're talking about. The people who bought season tickets last year, who flew into Indianapolis from other states, who booked hotels months in advance, those are the hardcore supporters, and they're the ones sitting this one out. When your most loyal customers adopt a wait-and-see approach, you've got a trust problem, not a marketing problem. Music.
Opener for the first time, even in the nosebleeds. What could be the reason for this decline? Fans are fed up. Fans are hearing the rumbling throughout this offseason. Fans may not be so excited with the signings and the movement and the additions this offseason. And most importantly, fans remember last season. Fans remember how the Indiana Fever treated them last season, dragging them along using
the day-to-day injury updates. That phrase alone probably triggered some of you watching this, because the Fever turned CaitlinClark's health status into a daily guessing game last season. Fans would check their phones every morning. Is she playing tonight? Maybe. Probably. Day to day. And people who had already bought tickets, already booked travel, already committed their time and money were left hanging. Some showed up to games only to watch her sit on the bench in street clothes.
He includes last year's home opener allegedly sold out in under an hour. That kind of discrepancy is loud. Under an hour last year, and here we are, tons of tickets available. He goes through all the crowd. Tons of tickets available. Some fans have admitted they are hesitant how after last year CC was handled. This is the money magnet, CaitlinClark. So Hallie says this: flew to Indy with a friend, stayed in a hotel across the street, and our favorite players.
Now, look at what the organization is charging. Home opener against Dallas, upper deck seats are going for over $100, not courtside, music, not lower bowl. The top row of the arena? Middle sections are running $300 to $400. Behind the bench, $700 to $800. And this is for a team that went through a coaching change, lost key players, and hasn't shown fans anything in the preseason yet to justify those prices. But here's what really exposes the disconnect: the Fever are charging premium prices for preseason games. Exhibition basketball, where starters play limited minutes, and the outcome means nothing. $200 for nosebleed seats to watch a scrimmage, $100 for mid-level seats to see third stringers fight for roster spots. That's not confidence in your product, that's testing how much you can extract before fans revolt.
Folks, you guys are in the live stream. Many of you are in the venue. We've heard the stories. We've heard the stories of people saying, you know what, I'm selling my tickets in terms of last year. I'm seeing how the season's going. I'm seeing that they're doing this day-to-day nonsense. I'm selling my tickets. I'm not giving them my money. Oh, I had this date, August 15th, circled for the longest time. I'm not gonna buy tickets for that date. Oh, I was ready to go to Indy for the All-Star weekend, and here we go playing these games. Yeah.
The economy argument only goes so far. Yes, gas prices are higher. Yes, inflation has hit everyone's wallet. Yes, music, groceries cost more than they did last year. But the WNBA's entire growth narrative has been built on the idea that demand is skyrocketing, record ratings, sold-out arenas, unprecedented interest. So, which is it? Are fans desperate to see women's basketball, or are they too broke to afford tickets? Because those two stories don't line up.
But bought the tickets at the start of the season and paid through the nose to stay an expensive night in Indy. This year, we are taking a wait-and-see approach as to not get burnt again. Fans, remember, 70% of tickets are sold. 70% of tickets when you have the hottest thing moving. IndianaFever. Good, let them have a taste of their own medicine. This is part of it too. Cost of life, a lot of attendances from out of town, gas costs, airfare, etc. Much higher.
And then there's the Lynn Dunn situation. The Fever's senior advisor went on social media and called fans complainers. Let that sink in. A team executive publicly dismissed the concerns of the people who fund the entire operation. That's not just bad PR, that's a fundamental misunderstanding of the relationship between a sports franchise and its fan base. You don't get to insult your customers and then act surprised when they stop buying your product. Compare that to what happened with the New York Mets. Steve Cohen, the billionaire owner, made some comments suggesting fans weren't spending enough money at games. The fan base responded by spending even less. Attendance dropped, concession revenue fell. The message was clear: you want to criticize us for not opening our wallets wide enough? Fine, we'll keep them completely closed. The Fever are learning that same lesson right now.
These are expensive. These are expensive. This is the home opener against the Dallas Wings. Dallas Wings at Indy. You got the top row at over $100. I'm not paying $100. Like I'm not, folks. Garrett Cole was doing a rehab assignment right down the street over here in Somerset. $50 for a minor league ticket. I'm good. I'm only paying $30 for a minor league ticket. I'm not paying $50 for a minor league. $300, $400, $500 for the middle seats.
70% of tickets sold, for a team with CaitlinClark, for a franchise that supposedly revolutionized the WNBA's business model last season. 70% would be a disaster for most teams, but for Indiana, it's catastrophic. This was supposed to be the blueprint: draft a generational talent, pack the building, print money. Instead, they're struggling to move inventory a week before the season starts.
Don't price your people out either. Don't price them out either. But you also knew with the new CBA, fans were going to feel this too. Yes, the economy, I agree. Economy, gas, airfare, tickets, cost of living, groceries, Jesus, groceries. But this as well. I want to pay this. Now look at this.
Here's what fans remember most vividly from last season: watching CaitlinClark run around setting off-ball screens for entire quarters, seeing her stand in the corner while other players dominated the ball, the confusion when she'd play 35 minutes one game and 22 the next with no explanation, the frustration when she'd sit out the fourth quarter of close games people didn't pay premium prices to watch. Role player CaitlinClark. They paid to see the player who broke every college basketball record. And the organization knew exactly what they were doing. they'd hype availability right up until game time, keeping fans engaged and hoping. Then she'd either sit or play limited minutes in a reduced role. That's not injury management, that's bait and switch. And fans don't forget that kind of treatment.
Want the CaitlinClark experience, not the Metheny. Oh, gee, you see, it's been that long. Not the Stephanie White show. How many other teams have sold out so far? Now that's an issue already. If we're comparing the IndianaFever to other teams, then we're already behind the 8 ball. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Training camp starts today. We're going to have videos throughout the day of what CaitlinClark says, what Stephanie White says, what Aaliyah Boston says. They're all expected to talk to the media at some point today. I'm sure, the IndianaFever media, being the stooges that they are, they'll just throw softball questions, and we really won't get anything worth of substance. But hey,
the wait-and-see approach makes perfect sense when you break down what fans are being asked to commit to. Music, you're buying tickets months in advance with no idea what the rotation will look like, no guarantee your favorite player will even be active, no clarity on whether the new coaching staff will actually feature Caitlin or continue using her as a decoy. And you're supposed to pay hundreds of dollars per seat for that uncertainty. In this economy, with this organization's track record, think about the typical fan experience from last season. You live 3 states away, you book a flight to Indianapolis in June for an August game, you reserve a hotel room, you buy tickets the day they go on sale because you know they'll sell out, you take time off work, you drive to the airport, you fly to Indiana, you check into your hotel, you show up at the arena 2 hours early to soak in the atmosphere, and then you find out CaitlinClark is day-to-day with a minor ankle issue and won't play tonight. What's your reaction? Are you buying tickets again next season?
I would greatly appreciate it.
Here's what this ticket crisis really reveals about the state of the IndianaFever and their relationship with their fan base. It's not about one bad decision or one controversial comment. It's about a pattern of behavior that demonstrates a fundamental misunderstanding of what made last season special. The organization seems to believe they created the CaitlinClark phenomenon, that the sold-out arenas and record ratings were the result of brilliant management and strategic planning. But fans know the truth: the success happened in spite of the organization, not because of it. People showed up to watch greatness, and they tolerated everything else: the coaching chaos, the roster dysfunction, the day-to-day injury games, because the on-court product was compelling enough to overlook the organizational incompetence. But tolerance has limits. And the Fever found that limit when they started treating their most loyal supporters like ATMs with unlimited funds and infinite patience. The constant ticket sale reminders on social media aren't just annoying, they're insulting. They suggest the organization believes fans have already forgotten last season's disasters, that a few months of off-season quiet erased the memory of broken promises and wasted opportunities. The pricing strategy exposes even more arrogance. Charging premium prices for preseason games sends a clear message: we think you'll pay anything to see this team. We think demand is so high that we can test the absolute ceiling of what the market will bear. We think you need us more than we need you. And fans are responding with the most powerful tool they have: closed wallets. What makes this particularly fascinating is the timing. The new CBA just kicked in, meaning player salaries are rising significantly. The economic model of the WNBA is shifting toward higher costs and the assumption of higher revenues to match. The Fever are betting that the CaitlinClark effect will generate enough income to justify those increased expenses. But what happens when the CaitlinClark effect starts fading because you've alienated the fan base that created it? Look at the broader context. The WNBA spent all of last season celebrating unprecedented growth. Every broadcast talked about record ratings. Every press conference mentioned sold-out arenas. Every article highlighted the CaitlinClark impact on attendance and viewership. The league positioned itself as being on the verge of a major breakthrough, finally achieving mainstream relevance after decades of struggle. But sustainable growth requires more than one transcendent player. It requires organizations that understand how to nurture fan relationships. It requires pricing strategies that balance revenue maximization with accessibility. It requires treating supporters like valued partners rather than exploitable resources. The Indiana Fever are failing every one of those tests. And here's the uncomfortable question nobody in the WNBA wants to address: what happens when CaitlinClark gets tired of this? She's already dealing with the physical toll of being the most targeted player in the league. She's navigating complex team dynamics with new coaches and new systems. She's managing the pressure of being the face of women's basketball while still being just 23 years old. Now add the weight of carrying an entire franchise that can't even sell out its home opener despite having her on the roster. At some point, the calculation changes. At some point, she looks at other situations around the league, teams with competent management, supportive fan bases, reasonable expectations, and wonders if staying in Indiana is worth the headache. And when that happens, when she even hints at wanting out, the Fever's leverage evaporates completely because everyone knows the only reason this franchise matters right now is sitting on their bench. The ticket sales crisis is a symptom of a much deeper disease. It's organizational dysfunction manifesting in the most visible way possible: empty seats where there should be sold-out crowds. It's fan frustration reaching a tipping point where loyalty gives way to apathy. It's a franchise that had everything handed to it: the #1 pick, a generational talent, instant relevance, and somehow found a way to squander the goodwill in less than 2 years. So where does this go from here? The Fever have a few options. None of them great. They can lower ticket prices, which admits they overestimated demand and damages their premium brand positioning. They can maintain current prices and play in a half-empty arena, which creates terrible optics and hurts the game day atmosphere. Or they can actually fix the underlying problems, treat fans with respect, manage Caitlin's health and role transparently, price tickets reasonably, and stop insulting the people who pay the bills. But fixing those problems requires admitting they exist. It requires acknowledging that last season's success wasn't inevitable, that it came from fan loyalty that's now eroding. It requires understanding that you can't rebuild trust with social media posts begging people to buy tickets. Trust gets rebuilt through actions, consistency, and demonstrating that you've learned from past mistakes. The real test comes in about 2 weeks when the regular season starts. Will those empty seats fill up once actual games begin? Will fans decide that watching CaitlinClark is worth tolerating everything else? Or will the wait-and-see approach extend through April and May, with fans monitoring box scores and highlight clips before committing their money? My prediction: the Fever will eventually move most of those tickets, but at what cost? They'll probably offer discounts or promotions that undercut the premium pricing strategy. They'll create urgency through last-minute deals that reward procrastination and punish early buyers. They'll fill the building but damage the long-term relationship even further. Because once fans learn they can wait for better prices, once they discover the team needs them more than they need the team, the power dynamic shifts permanently. And that's the real story here. Not the empty seats, or the desperate social media posts, or the overpriced preseason tickets. The real story is a fan base that's learning it has leverage. A fan base that's discovering it can say no. A fan base that's realizing the Indiana Fever need CaitlinClark fans more than CaitlinClark fans need the Indiana Fever. That's a dangerous lesson for a franchise to teach its supporters. So let me ask you this: if you're a Fever fan who got burned last season, are you buying tickets right now? Are you trusting this organization with your money again? Or are you waiting to see if they've actually changed? Drop your answer in the comments.